go. Hey, it's starting to be deep.
Let's have it.
Hey, yeah. Do you think it is important to communicate your boundaries with related parties?
Yes.
Very much.
Of course.
It's very necessary.
I mean, I feel like there's a thin line between communicating and me explaining myself. Like, I feel like with certain people or with certain dynamics of friendships or even my human connections, I don't really owe you that explanation. I don't know if it's just me though. Like, depending on like the hierarchy of friendship, in a circle, like an acquaintance, if I'm telling you I no longer want to party with you, do I really have to explain why I no longer want to party with you? Like,
Not
it's
necessarily.
it's just setting that boundary of thank you for the invite, but I shan't be doing this with you anymore. I don't
Damn,
think
that's a bit harsh. I feel like I feel like I wouldn't have said with you.
Yeah.
I would have said no. I'm gonna sit this out for a bit.
But
you
I feel like
know?
it depends on, because I feel like if the other party is aware and something maybe happened, then you know
okay,
why I'm
yeah,
saying
okay,
I'm
that
not
makes
gonna.
sense.
But now when people put you at a position of why it's not making sense to me, I think what I'm trying to say is my boundary doesn't need to make sense. to
Exactly,
you.
it's not
like
supposed
it's
to.
just my
It's not
own.
supposed to,
I'll
yeah.
communicate it. You want to get it or not? Forget about it. It's not my problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. But I was thinking, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, of course you don't need to explain if this person knows what they did to you. But if this person doesn't know what they did to you, do you think it's really?
But what
do you
if
think
it's not
healthy?
even about what they did to me? What if I'm just no longer in that space
Okay,
anymore?
but even if in that case, if you're just no longer in that space, this person is someone who considered you their friend. You're just the one who was feeling off about it. So I think it would be
Nice.
nice to
it's
give a bit of an
courteous.
explanation,
Yeah.
because personally for me it depends on how important you are to me, just like you said, the hierarchy. If our friendship was very good and I could see you reciprocating, I could feel like, okay, you might be my friend. I'm going to explain in detail and even overshare. I'll say, this, I didn't pick your call because of A, B, and C. If it's someone I'm not really close to, I'll say, sorry, I was sleeping.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because I ghost. Like I just stop
come back
texting.
next
I
week.
stop. Like it just
Come
goes
back
out.
next week, a new
But the
personality.
funny thing is with like my acquaintances relationships, if I ghosted you because I no longer want to be in this friendship, they never text me as well. So
50-50.
Wazi.
Yeah.
I just wake up one day, delete the contact,
And boom.
deuces,
Yeah.
And move on.
deuces. So, but we all collectively agree it's
Yes,
important to
it's-
communicate.
even with your boyfriend.
With boyfriend, you must. That's your
You
no
need
questions
to-
asked.
That one it has
That
to.
one needs to happen. Yeah.
Even with your relatives.
Yeah, even with family. Even with family.
Even with family, by
Yeah,
the way,
even
the
with
thing
family.
is,
Which is the hardest.
it
Family
is
hard.
very
hard.
hard.
Oh, but it's not so hard for me because my family is not anywhere here. So.
Oh, so good
So
for
I'm not
you.
gonna face them, bro. I set my boundary. You can't be calling me at 2 a.m. Come on.
Come on.
Yes, I'm your niece, but come on. I'm sleeping, bro.
Yeah, sure.
Kwanza ama when some relatives are just prying in your business. Me, there's just one day I got to a point, I was like, Cheki, unikome, okay? Leave me alone. Because at this point, I remember it was from, I think it was from anyways, fine. It was from my father's side of the family. And there's just someone who was prying in my business. Prying in my business. And then in my head, I'm thinking, even the business in my life that you're associating yourself with, no offense, no malice whatsoever, but the kids were worse off. I'm sorry, but I mean
Like,
nothing
you know
in
what
my
your son
heart.
is doing.
But do you nikutumia streaks like
You want receipts?
because me what I'm doing is like class 1 compared to class 6.
Yeah.
It's like so bad, and it was like a whole thing of they'd pry in my business. The next day my mom just has all these things on me,
Information.
and I'm just like, not just as thinking it would be things like ameongeza tu chumvi mahali. So I'm hearing my mom complain about something. I'm like, this is me.
Like, I did that.
Like this
When?
is even interesting. Would tell me more because I want to know what you think
I
I'm
feel like
capable of.
The best boundary with family.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, sometimes you just have to keep the distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, keep the distance.
Make
Kwanza,
sure-
ama
because
these ones who talk
talking-
about your
And
body.
change your number.
Yeah.
Keep the distance. Because sometimes you'll communicate, but it doesn't get through.
It doesn't
to
get
them.
home,
True.
but
They
it doesn't
they
get
can't
home.
reason to your level of understanding.
They grew up in a different environment than
Facts,
us.
yeah.
You just
Sure.
distance.
It's
or,
just-
or maybe you have a business and they expect you to give them free.
We are free money.
Me first off, I'm a child. I'm a child.
And like,
I don't have
they,
money.
They expect you because I've done IT, so most of my relatives, of course, will be like, nitengeneze hii simu, check this out for me, and then like I'm sure if I went to that point of sawa, hiyo itakuwa 2,000. Thaumbili boo.
Nikawa wana
Simple girl, you take the phone and then you say, I don't. It's
will
not
be
working.
like-
Just tell them it's not
They'll be
working.
like, guy, nani likushika ukiwa mtoto?
So
Right.
na hata hiyo kukushika ni one time. You didn't pay for my food,
You
didn't
know?
pay for my clothes,
You
didn't pay
didn't
for my
breastfeed
fees.
me.
I fix things for them, but I'm sure if I went to that point of hii kitu itakucost kama, you know. So
Yeah.
sometimes I just be like, okay, unataka? Oh, imeharibika sasa, acha nikureferie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because huyo utamsumbua. You know, mimi nikikwambia 5,000.
No, but you know what you should tell them? You should tell them, listen, if you take your phone to this person, it's this much. I'll give you a discount, but pay me.
But
Otherwise,
pay me.
I'm not doing
Yeah,
it.
I'm not doing
So,
it.
now you see, if they don't, that back and forth ndo ibambi. So
Think about the fact that you're
Sasa
older
usifanye
now.
tu.
You're not a child anymore. That's
Ama
what, that's
when
what
they
gives
suggest
me
you to say,
confidence.
oh, I have a rate card.
What
I
gives,
mean, I have
what
a
gives
rate
me
card.
confidence to set like boundaries with family is that my mom had a child already at this age. Like I'm grown. I'm actually grown. At my age, my mom had a child and a half. Like she was pregnant.
A child and a half. Haha.
So like I can't be allowing them to just step
Try,
on me
yeah.
like that. No.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I had a point in my head and I meant.
It'll
Imagine
come
it's just gone. Or me, you know, but I tell myself, you know how extended family gets so excited over Rurashios. Mimi, I'm only expecting 2 people in my life to ask for the bride price because they've earned it.
Exactly.
They've supported me. They've seen me through life. And that's my Auntie Sophie and my mom. If it's not those 2 people asking for it,
I don't
understand why you think you can sit here and ask for my bride price. You don't
Right?
even know what I've been eating all of this time. And now all of a sudden you have sense to come sit. Unataka ng'ombe, brother. Even me, I'm more deserving because I've taken care of myself. You, on the other hand, you've just realized, oh, this girl is getting married. And you're bringing your whole flock. We shall fight.
yeah.
Oh, me, I'd like
shall
to see
fight.
Omega try.
Right.
I'd like to
May
see
think
them
that's why I'm
try.
so heavy on a private wedding. Like, I just want people that have been in my life to witness. Okay, I've suffered in this Nairobi to suffer on my wedding day. Come on.
I don't think I would have that because my dad is way
What?
is an extrovert.
But no, I feel like it would
extrovert.
depend on like the person I will be getting married
yeah,
to.
of course.
If you ask your parents to write the visitors list, you'll see
No,
what
'cause
that
Me,
is.
my mom, I know it might be minimal.
No, because for
It
real,
might
if
be
my
very
husband
minimal.
is somewhere thinking we'll have a wedding that is like has few people. I'm sorry to disappoint you because my dad.
But maybe like the limit for me is mtakuja main wedding ikisha kuna soda na cake na nini hapo nje, but my reception, because one, have you ever gone to weddings where you don't shiba? Like people leave when they've not really gotten satisfied with their food. I want people in my wedding to actually say they've eaten.
Host
To
a
be
wedding
Shiba.
potluck.
You
Everyone
know.
bring their food.
No, and then the thing is, so I tell every person that I have dated, if you not all you want a big wedding, we're only doing it in church. My reception is so that we compromise. One thing has to be private,
Yeah.
and one thing has to be public. Let's get it. And namtatoka kwa harusi yangu kama mjakula. We shall be so considerate to give
Tutashiba.
soda, fruit salad,
Na
you know,
tutashiba.
something. Yeah. Anyways, where's that? That was a question. In certain relationships, but I feel like we've answered this once. I feel like we've answered it. We're not talking about friendships and relationships and how, but that was people pleasing. So I'm just gonna ask anyways. In certain relationships, setting boundaries is easy and natural, but in others, some difficulty is experienced. That being said, what challenges have you faced while setting boundaries, and how did you overcome them? For those ones who've overcome. For those ones who've not overcome like me, how are you overcoming them?
All right.
Think Ivenge, you can take us through.
Yeah. Setting boundaries. I feel like it hasn't been so difficult to set boundaries in relationship wise because I've been able to set boundaries friendship wise. Does it make sense? Yeah, because like I said, I had to build a certain relation with my current partner before we became in a relationship. You know, we had to build that friendship. No, you can't just be dating a stranger. You can't just be a stranger.
Giving serial
So
killer.
yeah, I guess it's even easier because he respects me as a person. We respect each other, so it's easy. It's not even a long conversation if there is a boundary to be set. Like, okay, I don't like that this and this happened. I don't like that you did this. It's like, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know it made you feel like that. Let's move on. And yeah, I guess so. It's not so difficult in my case.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
First off,
boundaries, some
but
boundaries
wait,
of
wait
course.
before you respond. Okay. Oh, yes.
I feel like boundaries have cost, like, I've lost friends because of setting boundaries. And some other boundaries can be uncomfortable, even for you, like even for your friend. So I try as much as possible to, mostly if they deserve an explanation, if they're my close friend, I feel like they deserve a decent explanation of why, of why I'm telling them I can't do this thing with them anymore. So it's a bit uncomfortable because obviously, if somebody came to you and told you, you know what, I don't want us to keep talking every day, it's exhausting, it will feel bad, but you will also understand their point of view. So it's really uncomfortable, but something that has really helped, like, make that path easier is giving them a very decent explanation as to why I'm doing this, as to why I can't do this with you anymore. Yeah, and it gets uncomfortable at some point, but they come along. They understand.
Okay.
And as long as they stick to it, that's fine. The problem now becomes if they don't respect it at all. Yeah.
With me, there's no explanation that you could give me that would make me understand that you don't want to talk to me every day as your partner.
No, as a partner,
How?
no.
How?
Hey,
As
even
a-
me as a partner.
As a partner, no. But as a friend,
As a
Okay,
friend,
yeah, as a
okay.
friend,
As a
yeah.
friend,
I mean, what are we
That
talking
makes
about
sense.
but
every
Yeah.
day?
as a partner,
As a partner, you
we're
have
going
to text
talk.
me
Oh,
every
we
day.
have to.
We have to talk every
We're going
day.
to talk, yeah.
Okay. Personally, for me, I think I don't have a lot to say because, well, a babes is just starting that journey. But I feel like, thank you. I'm at a place where, for the first time in a long time, I'm understanding why even, I think before when other people from outside would set boundaries with me, I would feel like, my world has come to an end. They
that's-
don't
it
love
feels-
me
yeah,
anymore because
sure.
I'm like,
How
what
could
do you
you
mean you're
confront
setting
me?
boundaries
That's how it
with
feels.
me?
Yes.
You get, but now that I'm at a place where I'm setting these boundaries, I'm like, oh, that was no bad intention. Because even sometimes when I'm now communicating this with my friends, I'm realizing we're getting closer.
Yes.
So it's like mind blowing in my head. I'm like, oh, this whole time these people actually loved me. Because me,
Yeah.
when someone would set a boundary with me, deuces. I'm feeling like you don't love me anymore. Nah, sour bus. I wasn't at a place where I could understand.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm doing. And also unclenching from thinking that setting boundaries negates the fact that I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what do you mean I'm supposed to text Nani and tell them I don't like that they always keep on asking me for money? Or what do you mean I'm supposed to text Nani and tell them that I feel like I'm the only one in this? Like the whole thing where I'm supposed to say these things out loud? Goodness me. It's not funny.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I'm at a place where I'm just minusing boundaries from not being a nice person. Yeah. Psychologist?
Well, I feel like Coralie pretty covered much. Yeah. So yeah, I think if I was to talk, I'd recap what she
You'd
said.
recap what she
Yeah.
said. All right. Is compromise necessary when it comes to boundaries?
Compromise. Compromise, is it?
Compromise as
We
in
meet each
we
other
meet each other in
halfway.
between.
I,
I feel like I feel like it's necessary. I think again, but I think depends on the dynamics of the closeness.
And the kind of boundaries.
Yeah, because I mean, with my close girls, okay, we can have a sit down about my boundary. For an acquaintance, no, I don't get why you're convincing me. I need to take a shot. You get, because that's a compromise.
Hey,
Like
you
just
okay,
a
I get
shot.
what you mean.
Yeah.
I get
I
what you
think they're
mean.
necessary. Yeah.
I think they're necessary.
Yeah.
Also,
In some
especially kwanza in a
cases.
relationship.
Also, because sometimes you might think they overstepped, but
Yeah.
if you listen to
To their side
things
of the
from-
story,
to the
yeah.
side of the story, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't
Yeah.
really know
Yeah.
at that point. So at that point, it's necessary to compromise a little bit so that
Yeah.
you guys can meet each other
In between.
In between, yeah. But if it's something like they're really like over,
They're rigid.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even want to use that example, but if it's something, especially if it involves your boyfriend and another female friend,
Okay, yeah, true.
that's now overstepping, and you can't.
First of all, why is
compromise
your
on that.
female friend your boyfriend?
Sister, I have a story time, but I shan't go into it. I shall tell you guys behind the
Actually, they are
tent.
going out on
But,
lunch dates.
bruh,
Me and
Bruh.
your boyfriend met yesterday for ice cream. You're like ice cream.
Bruh, right? You're like, you met
I think,
my boyfriend for ice
or
cream.
they're saying, oh, he helps me. I talk to him about my emotional stuff, and he talks to sister.
I can't
that
be
case-
there for you emotionally. Why are you looking for
But
my
I have a
boyfriend?
question for you guys. In that case, who overstepped? Would
Both
you-
of them.
Both of them.
Ah.
Because
Both of
if
them.
okay, me in my scenario, the girl overstepped first, but he also allowed it.
I will quarrel my
So
man.
you
like,
see,
But it's different if they were friends before you started.
they weren't friends.
They weren't friends. They were friends.
She was like-
the three of
The
us.
three of us, exactly.
No,
'cause
but
why
I
am
feel
not
like
there?
it's how, for example, I refer to Jean a lot because she's so close to me. Jean is, if she has a boyfriend, what business do I have having his number?
True. Why do you have his number?
Why do I have his number? If she's in a relationship, what business do I have going to unpack my emotional baggage with him? Like I feel
Right.
like if you are my friend first, I don't negate the fact that sometimes because I've seen some of my female friends become friends with people I was dating with. But there was boundaries, not like Ilembaya,
But
like
there's
they
still
gelled.
boundaries,
They
yeah.
just gelled. But I don't expect you to be calling my man just because you're sad.
but where is your man picking
Sister.
up the call?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That will be my problem
For the
now.
number to be there.
Okay,
Just in
just
case of
just in case of
emergency.
anything.
Just in case
But
of
I definitely didn't ask for it. Like it was probably a thing of
Your
sijui,
friend will
nimeenda
say, "Let me
nikamtafuta
leave the number."
Instagram and I'm like I can't
Or
find
yeah.
Nani. Do you know where she is? And he gives me his number. He's like, let me know if you find her because
Yeah.
he's also looking for her. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that
Or
makes
if your man was my friend before you guys, or if you guys knew each other because of me,
Yeah.
then I'm entitled to have his number and talk to him. Why? Because we were friends,
Friends
before.
before,
But
yeah.
the boundary
But
definitely
if she
changes.
called me crying and you picked up the phone, like,
Do you think you grew up with boundaries, or do you establish the need for boundaries at some point in your life?
Growing up with
personally, in general.
Personally, this is every answer is based on. There's no right or wrong answer. It is all yours.
Personally, I feel like I grew with boundaries some, but I've had to establish others on the
some
way,
point,
at
yeah.
some point in my life. Because I feel like once you grow, you become an independent person. You might come from maybe a background that your parents do not have any boundaries whatsoever with even their friends, your relatives. But now you have to come up with those boundaries because maybe even you don't stand for some of the things that your parents do. Yeah, so I feel like I definitely grew up with some. Like I was taught kuna limit ya some of the things, but some of them I've had to pick up along the way and establish them myself.
Okay.
Yes.
nikuulize, unaweza ita boundaries as principles?
I mean, I feel like boundaries stem from principles.
Yes.
Like, ni two different
Then
entities,
if
but
it's
one
that-
leads to the other.
Then if it's that, may I grew up with boundaries.
You grew up with boundaries
Up to
as a
now,
result of the principles that were instilled.
Yeah.
But you've
Okay.
had some that you've established.
You've established
yeah,
in the way.
yeah. Saizi.
Yeah.
Of course.
Number one
Kuna
being,
mingi
we cannot
sana.
be delusional with this girl.
Aye, of course kuna vitu kama hizo, some very
May
petty
have
issues.
petition for other boy best friends to send notes to this one because he's not doing his work of being delusional with me.
Watu wengine wataishi jaba. Wewe utaishi jaba, Megan. Yeah.
All right.
Personally, I feel like, in my own opinion, I wouldn't say I grew up with boundaries really, because I feel like they weren't like a thing in my books. I mean, I don't even think I knew what boundaries really meant up until like a year or two, and that's just knowing that boundaries are a thing. But establishing them has been something I'm doing this year.
Okay.
So for me, I think I've established them at some point in my life, not actually grown with them.
But I think kuna ile, unajua ukiwa like when you're growing up, kuna ile notion ya wewe ni mtoto, maintain kwanza, hao ni watu wakubwa wanaongea. I think that thing created so much boundaries. Huwezi sema you grew up
I feel like
completely
that's
without boundaries.
discipline. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it comes
Kuna
off as
sometimes
discipline.
it wasn't just maybe it's your parents saying like giving a story about someone in your family and they wouldn't want you because you are young to say such things when that person is around, unaelewa? So unaambiwa like hizo ni stories za watu wakubwa. Kuna
But
ka
I feel
boundary
like,
kalikuwa
is it
kanatokeanga
a
tu.
boundary really or is it a discipline? Because I feel like boundary, as we said, sinafa kuni protect me and not the other person in question.
It's still protecting you because
Is it
let's say
though?
for example na TV kuna time ulikuwa naambiwa TV saizi izimwe, hakuna show za watoto. You see, it was protecting you. But bado ilikuwa ina place you in terms of when ni mtoto. I
But
think siwezi sema kila mtu aligrow without boundaries.
Yeah,
Kulikuwa na
sure.
zile kidogo
There are some
zenye ni
that were
minute.
still, yeah.
I feel like what I can say is if they were coming from an outside looking in,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying
zako
yeah,
za kujicreate,
zangu intentionally. I don't think so, because again, I think you are aware that I grew up in a lot of trauma as well. So for me, boundaries was like the last thing I thought about. Ati boundaries, rather, I have a whole other baggage to deal with. Who's thinking about boundaries? And I think Pia, the pain I was going through majorly contributed to me just, overstretching. Me, I was just existing, honestly. At Uniambe, I have to set boundaries with Auntie Nani or with Nani's, like, what are you talking about?
It's not giving.
Just talking, because I feel like growing up, I was very disconnected again. Like, sikuwa exist. Nilikuwa tu. Like, up until now, when I'm unpacking is when I'm realizing, oh yeah, boundaries. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
Yeah.
Based on your experience, what is the fine line between using a wall to protect yourself and boundaries?
Pardon?
Based on your experience, what do you think is the fine line between using a wall to protect yourself and boundaries?
Hey, you are in your zone.
Brother.
Like, what?
Bana
A
jo.
smart girl, an emotionally aware
Hey.
girl. Come on.
Mi
Come
kwanza
on.
hii
Bring it
swali
on, bring it on,
siwezi
bring it
jibu
on.
before mjibu nijue
Okay, no,
venye nitaibia.
Niseme kama Ben, hebu niambie hiyo swali.
Specifically question niliona kwa journal yangu, nilijiuliza a couple of niniza, because I realized that sometimes, especially emotionally and mentally, it's not a boundary. You're walling, you're putting up a
Yeah,
wall,
oh, yeah.
but you're not really setting a boundary. So that becomes unhealthy to yourself, because you're kinda, or just let's say there's a trigger, like there's something that triggers me, and I decide I'm setting a boundary to not go to that place. Technically, I'm not really addressing the issue. I'm just walling in the name of this is a boundary, but I'm not taking myself to face
Yeah.
the
I get
trigger.
you.
You
Yeah,
get?
yeah. What was the question again?
Based on experience, what is the fine line between using a wall to
wall
protect yourself and a boundary?
Okay, I feel like if sense,
My mom should be,
wisdom.
guys, I'm smart. Don't ever question it.
I feel like, okay, boundaries, when you have a boundary established, you can you're still, if for example you have a boundary with a friend, you can still meet with this friend, you can still hang out, just that, and they just don't need to cross that line.
Yeah.
And then I feel like for a wall, you're kind of like
Completely
switching off
avoiding.
from now the reality that is there.
Yeah, it's avoidance.
Because yes, they
Yeah.
hurt you, yes, but you can't just lose them. You know, sometimes it depends on what they've done. But I feel like before you get to that point of cutting off your friend, please give them another chance, as many chances as you've given that man.
Brother, you just had
Wow.
to throw that up there.
Hi, Megan.
Dennis, shut up.
Please give them as many, because I think okay, it depends. Well, it depends with what they did, but I feel like
Yeah, it
you
depends
need,
on what they did.
You don't need to like literally switch off from
Shut
from
up.
from reality. You don't need to completely switch off from the reality that is there.
Yeah.
Like if you're triggered going to a certain place, if you're meant to be there every day, for example, if it's work, most of us are triggered by work,
Wait.
work is triggering. But if you're triggered by work, you
gotta get in
always
the
have to
Zoom.
go there, right?
Yeah.
But establish a boundary with your coworkers. I think it's similar with boundaries.
Yeah.
You don't need to completely switch off from reality, and I think that's now the difference between a wall and a boundary. A boundary, you'll still live in that moment. You still experience the same people, the same experiences. But a wall, now utakuwa umejifungia, and I don't think it's good.
I have a smart thought. Itaenda ngoja. The difference between a boundary and a wall. A boundary, like, see, I know a wall keeps you from something.
Yeah.
A wall keeps you from the toxic you're supposed to not. But a boundary sets space between that toxicness and you.
yes.
So it keeps you.
Sure. Wisdom.
Finally umeanza kutumia kichwa.
Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think
Yeah.
the fine line between boundary and a wall. Wall ni saa zile sitaki kudeal na
Yeah, like avoidance. I don't want to deal.
Sitaki.
Yeah.
Because maybe you have wronged me, and I know according to you and how you are generally, hautaona where I'm coming from. So wall. But a boundary
Hi,
is
Dennis.
where I need I know we can reason out together. If I know we can reason out together, we can place now a
Yes.
boundary.
Sure.
Yeah, boundary.
And a boundary pia ni saa zenye I'm willing to deal with it. Kama si yuko willing,
It's
wall.
like twende tu nayo.
We, pata na wall of Jericho.
For
Yeah.
how long? For how long though?
Huyu inaweza kwa
Kuna zingine
forever.
ni lifetime.
Huyu ni forever, let me tell you Maina.
Kuna some that okay, generally ni
But I
lifetime.
don't think you keep a grudge. Una tu sahau.
Oh yeah, sikangi grudge.
He just
What I
forgets.
do na tumekasirikiana then I forget. Just sasa ni me I don't get ati kuna grudges. I
It's giving
detach.
avoidant attachment style.
I detach too.
It's giving avoidant attachment style.
Sasa attachment ni yangu utaniendea ingine uninunulia.
Personally, I feel like it's what I said. I feel like a wall completely keeps you off, but a boundary tells you how far you can go.
Yeah, sure.
What girl?
Yeah.
A boundary tells you how far you can go with that space, but a wall completely keeps you off, which I think keeps you stagnant and comfortable in that place.
Yeah.
But a boundary will enable you to explore and see, okay, how far is this boundary, and how far can I go, and how far can I not go?
Yeah.
Feel me?
Yes. Totally.
Yeah. So, how easy is it for you to let go of people that do not respect your boundaries versus constantly giving them multiple chances? So, between letting go of people who do not respect your boundaries versus constantly giving them multiple chances, which one is easier for you?
It depends with who I'm dealing with, to be very honest. It depends with how close we are. Because at the same time, some people, you will establish boundaries with people who you can't cut off, like family. So if they keep crossing that boundary, you still need to give them another chance. Even your siblings,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't cut them off. You guys are related, you know. So it depends with how close we are. But if at all we are not like, we don't have like any strong relationship whatsoever, I'll definitely cut you off. But if it's a friend, and I'm speaking in the sense that this is like a long time friend, you've been through all seasons together, like you guys have been through it all.
Yeah.
No, that friendship even sort of becomes like your sister,
Yeah.
your brother, you know. It
Yeah.
becomes so tight, like you guys have been through it all as friends. So I think it will be so hard for me to cut them off completely. I'd distance myself, or maybe avoid putting them in a position where I know this boundary will be compromised.
Okay.
I'd avoid putting them in that situation as much as I can, rather than cutting them off. It's really hard for me to cut off friends. If I cut you off,
And yeah, where you are the
you
problem.
just-
It is you.
So, yeah, it's really hard for me to cut off people from my life.
Oh,
Okay.
hey, nice. Oh,
They know-
for me, if I place a boundary on you, it means that I'm willing. I want you so much to
Yes,
be
you still want
in
to
my
be-
life.
in my life.
Yeah.
So where you'll get countless, I give countless
chances.
to people who I've set boundary to. But if I have not set a boundary, I've placed a wall, I'm not willing to give you even a one chance.
one chance.
Hata sitaki kusikia explanation. Keep your explanation, tembea.
What's that supposed to mean?
Ndio. Like kuna mse unajua hapa iwezi. Unajua kuna ule best yako mwenye akikosea mara moja uko willing kumsamea. Lakini kuna mwingine anakukoseanga mara moja uko wewe kwenda hata siku anataka uko best yangu ni venye tu.
Bombastic side
Tunakuanga
Wrong
class
men.
moja.
Bombastic
Hey, you
side
guys.
eye. Hiyo tunapatana nyuma ya tent. Niko na maswali. I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, but if I have placed a boundary, it's because I really, really, really want you in my life. Kama boundary hakuna ni wall. Tulishafunga hiyo chapter.
Hey, okay.
Personally, for me, I feel like Jehovah. I feel like hey, najaribu kufikiria a politically correct answer, and I'm
Kizungu
like,
yote alafu Jehovah.
Jehovah. Hata si God Almighty, Jehovah.
Na yeye ni wa church gani? Sitam.
Miss Wasitam, brother.
Ayesio sitam.
I'm Miss Wasitam. Mimi ni wa Destiny Life Church.
Oh, ni kwa sababu umeniita form mingi za Valley
Oh,
Road.
Zavali Road.
So I'm like, huyu ni wa sita.
Okay.
Wapi maskari wa sita?
Shout out.
But for me, in all honesty, I feel like Mimi, I'm very easy to give chances, and you know that.
Nilikuwa nataka kusema anything else.
Ulikuwa
Niseme
umenigoja
uongo, I
hivi.
cannot sit here.
This is the problem of doing podcast with someone who knows you. You can't even lie.
Huwezi danganya in case, yeah.
Yeah, but I may give chances now because I feel like the thing is, which I'm unlearning, I get to a point where I'm so comfortable with you not respecting it. Nazoea, like wazi, na adjust, which is very wrong because that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm looking forward to being easy to let people go when I feel like they're not respecting my boundaries. Because again, me ndo nachangwa tu hapo niko in the dumps, niko drained, na Dennis kila saa ni reassure, you know, but in the whole time ndo tu nime hang on to an anchor that needs to go.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to a ship that needs to sail when there's no point, guys. But it's like say must.
I have a
Say
question to
must.
you. Nimenotice basi tuko similar. We are just mtu akicross boundary
Unasema tu
kwa
was.
sababu utai kumwachilia. Unaelewa? Because even me, the fact that I give countless chances ni kwa sababu nishajua. Okay, labda umse anakuanga hivyo.
Wacha tu
Wacha
nimhurumie.
to adjust boundary yetu tuisongesha hivi
Hivi
kidogo.
kidogo. Yani you adjusting it to their
So,
to their liking and
we
not
need
yours.
to cut them off.
Not really cut off. I think it's the same thing we were talking about jana usiku. Communicate and say that I feel like I've been very lenient with you in this specific manner, and I feel like ni kama haiko respected. Like I have to keep on adjusting and adjusting when actually I'm not supposed to be doing that. It's not supposed to be. If anything, wewe ndo nafaa kuwa una adjust.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
mimi.
It's not even a boundary if you keep adjusting it.
Yeah.
Itafika at certain point they will familiarize with it.
Yeah.
And then they'll know you as this kind of person who doesn't stick to their boundaries, so they'll keep crossing.
Ati
the
Odeno
boundaries
alisema
over and
chapi
over,
shot.
yeah.
Tunakuja tunampea moja tu saizi.
Ah.
Kinaenda.
Anasema huyu mwanzisheni na kasida.
Kasida tu. Alafu tukishampata tunamramba literally.
Tugwarani.
Yeah.
Ndo kagwarani huko.
All right.
Oh, wow.
That being said, because now we're actually talking about it, how do you deal with people who take offense or do not respect your boundary?
Hii swali inanishautia juu.
Nimengoja jibu yako brother.
Kuna episode nilisema mimi unaniwekea boundary na mimi ni best yako kwa nini?
Kwa nini? But then there's a time Dennis will not agree with
Because I
boundaries.
couldn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Then I
it's
came
hard
to understand like boundaries aweki unizuie unaweka ujiprotect.
Yes, sure.
Progress, my brother. High five.
Giving growth.
I love that for you.
I was grown, man. Nilikuwa nimemea.
So you na grow pro man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sawa, but how do I?
How do you deal with people
with-
who
yeah.
take offense or do not respect your boundary?
Wasamehea?
Ay, hapana, it's giving.
Okay.
It's not giving what it's supposed to be giving.
How do I first of all I communicate.
Okay, true.
I communicate.
You communicate that you feel like they're overstepping.
Una overstep. Hapo uko sure. Yes, I might say it so sarcastically, but you will nitasema bado kitu itafanya keep on thinking about it. First thing is communicate, then act mad akirudia tena. Act mad.
Act.
I'm not mad,
But you're acting.
but I'm acting mad. In your side unaona I'm really pissed because I don't want to get there because nimesha notice kuna madness ingine yenye nakuanga nayo si healthy. So I act mad. Ukiwa past hapo sasa we give you a wall. Yeah, there's no boundary.
There's no-
Sasa tunatoa
So
boundary,
that's
tunajenga
wall
ukuta.
means cut off.
Yeah.
Okay, so walls could either mean cut off or dynamics za friendship yetu zina switch. I'm
Zikiswitch
assuming.
ni wall.
Or zikiswitch ni wall.
Zikiswitch ni wall.
Okay.
Mimi ninakuanganisha define dynamics unless you grow up. Kama nikunikosea unafanya hii ni switch dynamics, I'm cutting you off. Ni venye tu nakusongesha tu polepole ujipate uko nje.
Uko nje
baadaye.
sasa.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, me hapo sina maoni because I'm recently just beginning to know what this whole boundary thing is like.
About.
But I'd say maybe I have a problem with letting people go. Even you know that. I have a big problem with
Where?
deciding when I could drop. And it's such a hard thing for me to do because I normally feel like a bad person of sorts. But sasa I've gotten to a place where I just pray them off. Mungu answer hizo prayers. Evie, I don't know, me and my friend were watching this TikTok where zile prayers are, God, if this person is not meant to be in my life, remove.
Fastest answered prayer.
Hiyo
in the
Mungu
entire
anaansa ingi
Eh,
hivi tu.
kuna kwa na angel wa hizo maombi.
Huyo guardian angel tu
Ako like
anasikizaga majina.
Ako like drop a no uko Kino,
Uko
Kikuyu, Embu. Ukipatia hao no.
anakwanga tu ni kama amesikiza
standby.
nani na nani
Ako
brother, at the end of the
That
day
is the
nashang-
most active ministry.
Yes.
angels wa hiyo
Hiyo
department
maombi
wana
inajibiwa the moment umemaliza hiyo statement, God, if this person is not for me, God is like,
But
Kama
funny
he's
thing,
not,
funny thing, inajibiango haraka on female side. Sisi tutaomba msichana kama si wangu, lakini bado kitakuramba
Acha
tu.
nikwambie, dem.
Unajipata umelewa huko.
Let me tell you.
Lakini nilikuwa nafanya nini?
let me tell you, even at the first point ndo uende kuomba hiyo maombi, unakuanga ushajua in your spirit.
zinaenda
There's
Maybe I
something
feel
about
like
this guy that
inaendanga
is not
tu.
agreeing with
Yeah.
you. You know, and then ukishasema God, if this guy
Ni kama
is like,
God anakwanga tu
he's not.
akisemanga I thought you'd never ask.
Basi kwetu wenyewe Mungu anakuanga nyinyi mmetesa wasichana sana kiwa rambe.
Yeah.
But I feel
simtoi muweke kwanza,
I feel
muongezee qualities.
I feel
Unaona
like-
sasa huyu ni mzuri yenyewe Mungu amejibu, amemleta closer.
Hadi ameanza
Oh.
kujidream, we.
I feel like
Kumbe
for me,
miradi yako iko
ina-
Kisii inafanya tizi.
But I feel like for
Kai.
me, ni kwa sababu, I think, unajua, one of my friends was telling me how God knows the things you're capable of and the things you're not capable of.
Yeah.
Me, God anajua tu siwezi wachilia watu. So he just does the thing for me. He's like, my child, I gotcha. Wacha
Yeah.
nikufanyie kazi. Because me, honestly, tutalinga around your situation. Because kama nani, tunaomba maombi ngapi, brother? I'm telling him in this way. We just be like, huyu tu sasa Mungu amchukue. Because namcall, amenipea advice, namwambia sawa, wacha nikaseme kenye umeniambia.
Kesho yake anakukol. So ulisema niseme nini jana?
So no, ama nafuta namwambia, so we talked about it and now we are good. Huyu alikuwa tu amenichoka.
Me, I feel like the moment I start feeling like the moment you feel like you need to say that prayer. Already
But then
unakuwa
unakuwa tu
ushaona,
ushajua
eh,
imeenda.
ni kama things are going mrama here, you know?
Kitakuramba.
Yeah, and hiyo maombi for real.
But then
Kila mtu
inakuwa-
mwenye ameomba, man. Kwanza ukisema God, if this guy, which one? Unasema
Saa
unamtaja.
zingine usiposema which one, wote wanaenda.
Wacha hivyo.
You
Kuna
need
hii
to specify.
kuna hii kitu fulani.
Talking stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Gone.
Gone.
Kuna hii kitu fulani naombanga hivyo, alafu na feel kama ni prompts zinawekwa kwa kichwa yako. Juko if this guy unasikia akili yako inakuza which one?
Which one?
Oh God. If James does not
yes.
come, which James?
James.
James ule
from
wapa.
Kinoo.
Karibu hata unapata alihama ameenda Kisumu
Ameenda
kazi.
kama ni mwingine. Bro.
Lakini sisi kwetu. God, if it's not Jane, which Jane? Unamtaja vizuri kila kitu lakini ukishasema amen, analetwa close, unajua basi Mungu amejibu maombi. Wapi? 3 months later ndio kumbe radi yako ilikuwa inakuja.
Mko inakuja tu.
Ushaijipata ulimess up hadi mabesti zako ukucheka. Because let me tell you, if you think girls unajua girls wanasaidiananga sana kwanza ukipata na heartbreak. Sisi guys tunachekanga.
Unachekelewa.
Alafu sasa hizo ndio wanakuja kuambia lakini ulikuwa
Uliona
umefambo.
nini?
It's giving Dennis.
Ulikuwa
It's giving Dennis
umefambo.
ati contraband. Really.
Unazunguka na vitu illegal. Hizo si ni
Wait, I'll
contraband.
do that all the time.
Hizo ni contraband
Anyway,
surely.
it's super okay to feel offended by boundaries.
I bet they feel.
it's okay.
Yes, because you know,
Because I may get offended by some of
Yeah.
my friends. I'm like,
because most people who set boundaries are people that are really close to you. You have no business setting boundaries.
boundaries with
people
me?
You are
What?
not close with. So it's okay to take an offense.
Yeah.
And it is okay for it to feel offensive at first. And then I feel like that's usually just our part, like, of our love being like nika unasikia nika really like you want me to reduce my love for you.
Yeah.
You know, that is how it feels at first. But
Yeah.
once you sit down, evaluate, and you actually see the essence of the boundary. then personally
Finally,
stay.
hebu nisalimie. Megan never understood that.
What do you
Nikisema si understand why you're placing a boundary.
Boundary, yeah.
Because wewe umesema a very solid point.
Yeah.
It's okay to
take
feel
offended.
offended
Yeah.
from about that
Yeah.
boundary. Because mimi initially I used to feel like unanikataza
Yeah.
sasa
Like,
nisiende the length I would
Yeah,
go for you.
Yeah.
But now I came to understand
yes,
it better.
yeah, it's,
Chana huyu.
so it's totally okay to take offense.
Well, no, wait, I think what I mean at the time, I think all of us, because it was all of us,
Yeah.
we thought you meant boundaries shouldn't be there in close friends. Like, it was coming, we were understanding from a point of hakufai, kukua,
Na boundaries.
We weren't understanding that you meant sometimes it's fine to take
Yeah,
offense.
it's
Yeah, because
Mimi-
that make
Mimi,
gets
that one
offended,
was what I
brother.
never understood.
Oh.
Like, no one told me like it's okay to feel offended, but
Oh,
it's necessary for that boundary to be
boundaries.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are 2 things you have in the past or presently struggle saying no to? Dennis? Side eye?
Hey. 2 things I have struggled to say no to.
Hey, mi wa kwanza siwezi sema on a public platform. Nitakujua.
2 things I've struggled to say no to. Hebu kwanza words zimepotea.
Well, me, I genuinely just struggle with telling people that I can't do things for them. I can't, like, I'll rarely tell you I can't be there for you, because I feel like sometimes it's mostly because I feel as a friend I'm supposed to be there with you through,
Like it's an obligation.
yeah, the entire time. I remember, like, my close friend graduated just recently, but now her graduation collided with an event at home, and I had to be out of Nairobi. And the entire time I was just thinking to myself, how can I hack to go to this graduation
Then you
and
go
still
home.
be home? And na kwetu
It's giving overstretching.
sisi wale watu outskirts of Nairobi. Sisi we come from far. We cross counties, man. We cross.
It's giving me every day. It's giving me every day.
We cross many counties. By the way,
It's giving me every day.
Megan, in order to come for an episode, she must come from abroad. Uganda.
You see, like, now sisi tuna cross counties mingi sana.
Of course.
So I was like, how can I hack this? And it was impossible. But up to the last day, nilikuwa like, I feel so bad, man. I was like, I feel super bad that I'm not here. So I generally struggle with telling people no. At our errands, I'm like, okay, you want this thing picked up at this time? Sawa. Guess who's the errand girl?
Wait.
I'll go, you know. So I struggle with saying no mostly. I think that's and in relationships I don't struggle with saying no.
Where?
Kama ni bambi nitakwambia tu buda z.
Bye.
As simple as that. Z. But it's because actually in relationships I'm more I have to have thicker skin in relationships, because it's super easy for you to bend for somebody you love. It's super hard to bend yourself for someone you love, you know.
Yeah.
But in friendships, uko well, I'm so easy.
Kidogo.
Yeah, so I think I struggle with telling people no.
For me, I think I'd say struggling with saying no in certain aspects. Let's say, for example, a good example is when a client approaches me. I am a videographer and a photographer, but client anakuja anakwambia, nilikuwa nataka kutengenezewa logo. Megan, hi.
That's not.
Anakujanga anasema nataka.
I'm like, why does this sound like me?
Nataka kutengenezewa logo ya Spelling Life. Sawa. Ndio mimi overnight YouTube how to create logos. I'll study it, make it, then forget. And then napata sometimes I provide something that is not top. Aiko fiti. Na that leads to devaluing my work, but mimi bado na struggling na kusema no. Unaweza shoot mazishi. Unaweza shoot chini ya maji. Nitatafuta tu venye nitaweka hiyo kamera ingia kwa ocean. Yani, especially in work aspect, I struggled so much to say no until recently ndo nimerealize. Let's say, for example, naambia Megan, kitu fulani mimi sitaweza.
Mbona unanitumia kama example?
Because ni wewe nimeanza kulearn through.
Okay.
So unapata naambia Megan, hiyo tafuta mse mwingine mimi sitaweza. Because even like the point of mimi kukuwa behind the camera only. Bado nilikuwa natafuta venye naweza aje weka hiyo kamera alafu nikimbie mbele ikifika side yangu naongea alafu ikifika side mwingine nakimbia.
I feel like the issue is you think you can do it all. You can do it all. Like you have it all.
You see, that's the hero syndrome.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Everyone. Yeah, like you can do everything. You got everything.
You sasa. And then another thing I struggle saying no to. The end of a relationship. Wananitesanga. Wananitesanga.
Why? For what reason?
Una notice enyewe hii imeisha.
Lakini una
hatusaidiani.
Therapy.
In fact nishaanza kuchukua auditions but niko na wewe bado sijakwambia tuachane.
Utafika point ya therapy.
Sijakwambia tuachane. Mimi siwezi enda therapy. Wewe. Okay, not saying that mtu afai kwenda therapy.
You can scream red flag, man.
I know. Give it red flag.
Okay, wacha tuelezee vizuri.
Peleka msichana.
Siwezi peleka msichana mwenyewe. Imeisha. Hiyo ni excess.
Girl.
Kimeisha. Kama kimeisha ni sawa.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the end of a relationship, hapo tunarudingi tunakuwa mabesti na Mungu wenyewe. Mungu huyu si ati sijui kama she's not helping me. Take her away. Most of my exes tunakuwa tuliacha kuongea. Ndio ikaisha. Hatujaiambiana tumeachana otherwise hata tukirivisit. I used to love you. But ikiisha mimi nachukua auditions na angalia watu interviews. What I don't get is much more involved. So hata ukiwa new recruit nakuja nakwambia kuna ule alikuanga ex wangu. I'm feeling like bado kumebaki some few things there.
Here and there.
So usifeel offended sana but najaribu kumalizana na hapo. Okay. But when you're new recruit. Yeah.
Amazing. Mimi nilikuwa nimejibu.
Huko umejibu.
Question ilikuwa niweza comment psycho. Na mimi niko na questions.
Hapana.
Or things I struggle saying no to. For starters, I'm an overpromiser. Like I overpromised. So unapatanga niliambia sijui mama yangu unamfanyia nini kidogo niliambia godmother yangu naenda kumchukulia sijui nini Gikomba. Like in a whole day nimejipatia tasks from people I couldn't say no to. Na niko na kama niko na list of things I need to do and in all honesty says deliver. Lakini mimi zinaniambianga
unaweza.
Woman power, I can Superman. Get it. I can get it.
Miracle work.
Don't do that on a public platform, brother.
Superman.
So mi uonanga nineza. See, I just can't say no to my mom saying, so unichukulia kitu jivanji wazi. Mwingine, unaenda taulo su nini wazi. So in a whole day, nimetembea tau, ilifika point najiambia, for what? Na silipwi? For what reason? Mi natoka tau, naangalia simu yangu inasema nimetembea ka 10,000 steps.
Do you want to start?
Hadi Google assistant anakujanga nasema are you okay? You've walked like hata mimi sijaiona hizi mambo. You've just been walking.
Town. Megan anaweza kuambia niko mahali fulani. Unamza huko ni Nairobi bado. Cause unasemanga acha tupatane na Megan. Megan anakuambia niko Ajib
ni wapi?
Ajib ni uko mwanzo ya tao ukiingia hivi. Sasa subaya misjui directions.
Sasa shida nyingine kubwa na Megan.
Hata sijui. Hapana,
na Haile Selassie. Uko
karibu na parliament. Hiyo parliament road uko sasa. Na sasa mishikia Ajib kwa sababu the distance between Ajib na Mat kuingia tao. Ndakuwa nimefika quick.
Sasa imagine umefika alafu anakuambia tupatane Ajib. I'm usually like Megan, kitu moja tunajua mimi na wewe ni quick mati hapo karibu na Bomblast ama Kencom. Other than that usiniambie hizo machochoro zako.
Wow.
Megan will atatembea alafu aone hapa panitangu kuna building inaitwa BNR. Niko hapa BNR. Hapa itangu hivyo. Tafuta jina.
Nikaa watu wa kuambia
mtu.
Kuambia na street. Niko sijui Mama Ngina.
Mbele Mama Ngina, honestly, what is that?
Siniambie karibu na Nation Center.
Come on guys, come directly basi.
Mbele unasema kama Mama Ngina.
Niko Tomboya
namuuliza okay sawa kwa Mama Ngina. Nini iko karibu na wewe? Sema kwa It's not giving. But anyways, yeah, I overpromise a lot. Hata in terms of work delivery, unapata in a week niko na reels ka 3 za kutengeneza, sija upload nini Spotify, niko na scripts ka 7, brother, naangalia tu hivi najiambia yenyewe hii imeenda hii. Sasa hizo vitu zingine zinakuanga zishalipiwa. Naanza kushanga hapa kitanianza aje, but hiyo ni kitu na learn. What else do I struggle saying no to? That one is personal. Let's do another one. ilikuwa TMI. What else do I struggle saying no to? There's a time I had struggle saying no to uko. Hata kama niko Marsabit. Kwanza wale wenye nakuuza uko unawaambia enye nimeambiwa tu ni set boundary leo niseme siko available. Sema nitakulipia Uber kuja. Nasema wazi Uber kutoka Thiriva hadi ushani convince na kuja. There's a time sherehe was something I couldn't say no to. Ati mnakata wapi leo? Wazi. Shuka tu na jacket na charger. Wazi. What business did I have though? But that one I haven't learned. We bless the Lord.
I think kitu ingine watu wana struggle ku say no to. This one is pia audience can say impromptu decisions.
Si ndio hiyo nakusho huko umeplan unaenda mali umeuliza tu uko wapi?
You wake up in Mombasa.
Me there's that time I was just gallivanting in Thika Road, jokes like that. Made know how I got myself in Nakuru on a Thursday. Brother, it's Saturday I'm in Nakuru. I was walking in Thika Road surely. Nimefika aje Nakuru.
Can't relate.
Ina kaile mimia. Unaamka kujituma unarudi kwa mlevi.
Juja.
Mimi nilikuwa Thika Road Thursday. Ni Saturday niko Nakuru lit. Hadi nashanga last I checked nilikuwa nimesoma kando ya TRM. What happened?
It's the world revolving.
Ili revolve kanirusha Nakuru or something. God meant to our father.
Impromptu nazo we.
No impromptu na kuna mtu akona kusema.
There's a kuna kwa.
Kwanza kuna option ya place ya kudoze na utumi pesa yako.
Saa zingine imagine hata kunanga hizo options. Uko okay sawa. Saa 9 ikifika guys tunalala wapi?
Na mimi na relate. Junishe kwa contributor wa bad decisions a couple of times.
Contributor ama chief for bad decisions. Unaona Megan unaanza nilikuwa nataka kwenda home leo Megan tafadhali tu usijaribu kupeana any suggestions keep them. I don't want you.
Unajua juzi Google Photos zilikwenda nikumbusha last year. Nilikuwa tu hivi na go through na gallant na jambia way I have lived life. What was that? I have lived. But yeah.
It's just a stage of life, I think.
Hey man, I think kila mtu pitia. But I know someone imagine who hasn't gone through that phase. We are now kufocus.
Very nice.
We atusaidie man.
Until ameenda Juja.
Unaingia Juja Monday, unatoka Sunday. My friend.
You know, I was in Juja in uni. Wild.
When are you uliishi maisha? Hata sisi dhani lakini hapana.
It's wild.
Lived.
Unajua niliona Twitter the other day somebody asked like ati that guy was like ati wakubwa aje kwa tina kuangaje mtu akamuuliza unaenda huko akamwambia inaonekana akamwambia prepare your lungs and then the guy was so innocent ali reply ako like mbona huko wanaenda cross country. That was not even the funniest bit. The funniest bit was mwingine akareply akauliza who will save these innocent children? I was like, who will?
Cross country.
Who will save these
Who will save these children?
Hata labda una tweet from West Pokot
bana.
That kid is
you
so
can't
innocent.
be in Nairobi.
You can't be in Nairobi no dream
Of course, I Nairobi. You know, uni ukitwa uni, you mostly don't come from Nairobi. See, it's from everywhere in the country.
By the
And then
way.
this is maybe hata ni first born kwa na ndo amaliza form 4 na kuna mtu kwa familia wameenda campus. I'm like, by the way, huyo boy akikuja Juja, boys akikuja Juja.
Protect that soul.
Protect that soul
at all costs. But that's the funniest thing. I was telling someone that up until like unafikanga tu age fulani innocence out the window. Hata ujui.
Kuna age tu unafikanga innocence inasimamia kwa mlango. Enda hivyo na kam.
Acha nichukue jacket kwa nyuma.
Nimesahau charger.
Kidogo tu. Okay. All right. Guy gather, where's the question? Is there a time when someone has overstepped a certain boundary, be it physical, emotional, work, family relations, or even in a relationship, and you didn't say anything? If so, why didn't you say anything? If you did, good for you.
Pardon?
So, is there a time when someone has overstepped a boundary, you set with them, and you didn't say anything? Like, you didn't address it. And if you didn't, why didn't you address it? If you did, good for you.
For me, yes. Why I did not address it is because I felt like being that person, you already know me. This thing doesn't sit well with me.
Hey, Bambi.
So why would you then go ahead and do that?
But what if they didn't know? The aspect of communication, my brother.
Yeah, there is an aspect of communication, but
Oh,
there's-
but you had already communicated it. They
Eh.
just overstepped.
kuna,
Alright.
kuna some things it's not even about communication. I know Megan right now doesn't want to be anywhere around alcohol. Mbona nikutembelee
Heavy on
kwenu?
that.
Mbona
Hey!
nikutembelee kwenu na chupa ya mzinga?
Mbona kwanza umekuja kunitafuta kwetu.
Kwenu.
I had no business.
Na mama yako kwanza anajua hata ujui bai inakaaje.
Kai unatoa wanaweza sikiza. Wewe usichome.
It is
Lakini
an
washachoma.
example. It is an example. Yeah. So I was like, unanijua. Na umefanya hivi bado. You know very well it's against what I am.
But I
nikaona-
feel like there's-
generally I saw there is no need.
What if bado mtu
So
pia
the-
anadjust to the boundary na bado haja
Mi siku
hajanini
adjust.
vizuri.
For me siku adjust. I just removed the boundary, placed a wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me, I feel like if people have overstepped my boundary and I didn't talk about it, I feel like maybe I was young, naive, I'd say, and young, that I didn't know, especially physical boundaries, yeah, because I feel like people cross physical boundaries all the time
Facts.
without knowing it.
Some with knowing
Yeah.
it.
Some knowing, others not knowing it. But if somebody crossed my boundary and I didn't talk about it, that's mostly because I was young and naive, or maybe
Okay.
I hadn't established
Concrete.
exactly how to deal
Yeah.
with people when they cross my boundary.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Personally, for me, I think if I didn't address it, I was scared. I think I was definitely scared. One, because I'm like, already, I'm not even gonna lie. In this process, even addressing that boundary is already ni kama ni mawazo nataka tu kulala. Because did I just tell you, you know that thing for this in this
Yeah.
TikTok for when a people pleaser says no to something. Me, I call my mom, I'm like, Chiki, imagine nimeambia na hapana because of how excited I am, Jugai. Nimekataa. So already for me, that's a whole task. So when I feel like I already mentioned it and I went through that whole process before telling you and you don't, like you overstep, I probably won't tell you because I'm scared. Because now I'm like, okay, is it that you don't take me seriously? Are we going to stop being friends? Etc., etc.
Yeah.
But inakwanga from a point of fear.
Yeah.
Or that I feel like
Which is
maybe
valid, actually.
yeah, but I feel like you don't take me seriously.
yeah.
But we need to address. All right. So as we wrap up, how do you think you can set boundaries and collectively at the same time stop people pleasing and overstretching tendencies? This is individually, like to you guys. How do you personally think you can set boundaries and stop people pleasing and overstretching tendencies?
I feel like boundaries are well set when you're true about yourself. If you don't subscribe to certain aspects or behaviors, say it. People will see. We will know your boundaries.
Okay.
Hiyo ndio the easiest and the most efficient way to set boundaries. Be true about yourself.
Because being true with yourself will stop people
Yeah.
pleasing and will stop overstretching.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Amazing.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
For boundaries, the same thing you said. For overstretching, do not overgive. If
Like
you're
beyond your
getting 50,
capacity.
give 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop giving 80 and 100. You have no business giving that man
Or that friend.
or that friend.
Yeah.
Hey, men wametesa
Mutanikujia, hey.
Come for me. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Personally, for me, I think it's a lot of inner child work. It's a lot of inner child reparent. Like, I'd need to go back to the roots. And like sort of like ita my inner child mkutano for one and tell them, imagine by this you must, you don't have to be everyone's
Yeah,
savior.
yeah.
You can't fix everyone. You know, in my mother's words, you're not Jesus.
You're not.
Anyone who's watching this, you're not Bob the Builder. You're not Jesus. You do not have the capacity. Pray for them.
Ai, hata mimi-
That's the most you can do. Just
hata mimi
pray.
wacha nitaje my mother. In my mother's word, wewe si bangi, hutafurahisha kila mtu.
That one right there.
Hey,
Take
okay,
notes.
okay,
But yeah,
okay.
it's for me, it's a lot of inner child work, inner child reparenting, for my inner child to understand. And you know, imagine all of these things are so unnecessary. You don't need to buy love. You don't need to earn genuinity. You don't need
Yes.
to overstep to give people reason to love you. And you don't have to suffocate yourself to feel like you belong. And you also don't need to mask your real self so that you feel like you also can't be
Sure.
loved authentically.
Yep.
Yeah, so last question. What mantra do you think is helping you with your journey on maintaining boundaries? Unajua mantra ni nini, si ndo? Okay, just confirming.
I'll still repeat the same in my mother's words.
We si
Wewe si
bangi.
bangi, huwezi furahisha
Kila
kila
mtu.
mtu. Na hata bangi ifurahishi kila mtu.
Okay.
For me, if it doesn't sit right with me, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to reduce myself to fit to your needs. As long as my happiness is at risk. Cut.
Cats.
If it doesn't sit right with you, it left. Akili.
Huyu ataambiwa na
Kuza
nani?
umse.
Huyu
Umse
ataambiwa na nani? For me, I think it's the one thing Jane said to me. If you're getting 21, give 21 or even 20.
yes,
Like,
yes.
don't go beyond the 21.
Yes.
And definitely the fact that I don't need to overstretch or overgive to be loved. I can just be loved genuinely
Yep.
with everything that I'm bringing to the table.
Yes.
That being said and done, guys, that is the end of this it has been a very deep, therapeutic, long conversation. Being it that there was a part 1 and a part 2. Yeah, so we hope you got to learn a few things from us in the same way we have also collectively learned a lot of stuff about ourselves in this episode. And wrap up. This is it. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to subscribe, share, tell a friend, your girlfriend, and the girlfriend of your boyfriend, you know, all that stuff. Stay safe. Na boyfriends wenyu, na boyfriends watu wengine. You get it? If you know, you know.
And
Anyway, yes, you want to say something?
Oh, yeah. She has a
She
podcast.
has a podcast, you guys. We're going to
Drum
drop a
rolls.
link down below. Make sure you go check her out. Amazing content.
Yeah,
Trust me.
can follow.
Amazing
Yeah.
content. And we'll be having her on here a couple of more times.
Yep,
But make sure you
happy to
take
be
care of
back.
yourselves. Yeah. Take care of
Yeah.
yourselves. Be safe. As always, love and light. Bye.
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 Mwah.